there is a question that has echoed through Zen monasteries for centuries. What is the sound of one hand clapping? It is a question that cannot be answered with logic, a riddle that does not seek a solution but a transformation. In a quiet village surrounded by mountains, there was a young monk named Aki. He had been meditating for years, yet his heart was restless. Every sound seemed to pull him away from the present moment. The rustling of leaves, the footsteps of travelers, the whispers of the wind. One day his master gave him this koan: find the sound of one hand clapping, and until he found it, he was not to speak of anything else. Aki did not understand. How could one hand clap? But he bowed and began his journey into stillness and impermanence. Aki walked through the forest, listening to every sound. The call of the cuckoo, the rush of the river, the soft patter of rain on moss. Yet every sound had two hands, two forces meeting, wind against leaves, water against stone, rain against earth. Days became weeks, weeks became months. The question followed him like a shadow. What is the sound of one hand clapping? He asked the elder monks, they only smiled. He asked the travelers, they only shook their heads. He even tried clapping his own hand in the air, but all he felt was emptiness. Frustration grew inside him. The more he searched, the further the answer seemed. One evening, as autumn leaves began to fall, Aki sat by the river. He noticed a single leaf drifting on the water. It spun, it swayed, and then it sank. No sound, no struggle, just a quiet surrender. For a brief moment, his mind was still, but then thoughts returned and the question haunted him again. Winter came, snow covered the temple roof. The forest was silent except for the occasional crack of ice. Aki realized something. Every sound, every movement, every breath was born, lived, and faded away. Nothing stayed. Not even the silence stayed the same. It shifted with each moment. He remembered his master's words about impermanence. To understand stillness, you must embrace the dance of change. To hear the sound of one hand clapping, you must listen beyond sound. One morning, while sweeping snow from the temple path, Aki paused. His breath was visible in the cold air. For a moment, he noticed that the breath, too, disappeared into nothingness, like a wave fading back into the ocean. He felt the truth in his bones. The sound of one hand clapping is the sound of existence itself, arising from nothing, returning to nothing. Stillness is not the absence of sound. It is the awareness that both sound and silence are transient guests. One night, as the moon hung low over the mountains, Aki went to meditate alone in the forest. The snow reflected the moonlight and the world was bathed in silver. He closed his eyes. The cold touched his skin. The distant hoot of an owl echoed, then faded. And then there was nothing, only stillness. In that stillness, Aki felt the pulse of life, not as sound, but as presence. The sound of one hand clapping was not something to hear, but something to be. It was the silent awareness behind all things. When he returned to the temple, the master looked at him and asked, "Have you heard it?" Aki bowed deeply and said, "Yes, master. And it is the same sound that has always been here." The master smiled. "Good. Now, forget it." The sound of one hand clapping is not hidden in some distant mystery. It is in the way the wind brushes your cheek. It is in the way your breath rises and falls. It is in the quiet moments between your thoughts. Impermanence teaches us that nothing can be held forever, not joy, not sorrow, not even the sound of the river. But in letting go, we find peace. So tonight, as you close your eyes, listen, not for the noise of the world, but for the stillness within you. It has been there all along. And perhaps in that stillness, you too will hear the sound of one hand clapping. And as you return from this moment of stillness, may you carry within you the gentle echo of the one hand's clap, a reminder that peace is not found in the noise of the world, but in all the quiet places of your own heart.